Ben from Computers. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I've I took a listen to Station on the Hill, and it sounds freaking crazy.
Thanks.
It sounds freaking crazy. Yeah. It's crazy how you guys have a saxophone in your lineup. Kind of tell me how that goes about.
Yeah, when we were working on the original songs, I kind of knew it was a sound we wanted. And I've always wanted to play with just, slightly, I wanted to have some, like, instrumentation that was slightly, I just could, like, fill space in a way that only sax can do. And we kind of found, like, Jackson, just found him on Instagram and doing videos, like, covering songs and like doing originals and stuff, and I was like, hey dude, do you want to check out some of my music? And I sent it to him, and like 4 days later he sent me like bounces of like alto sax, baritone sax, tenor sax.
Sick.
It's just like, yeah, I'm down, man. And I was just like, shit. So which kind of, he's like, it's been a huge part of our writing process with him.
Nice. Which songs were demos at the time off that album that you sent him? Were any of them?
It would have been Concrete Vehicles was a demo. Dissolution, actually no, not Dissolution Used then. It would have been Concrete Vehicles, Weird New Vocation, and then like a couple other songs that didn't make it onto the record.
Okay, cool. Tell me a bit about, because you guys are a 7-piece, right?
Yeah.
7-piece?
6-piece live, 7-piece like as a band, yeah.
Okay, so tell me a bit about like the writing process when you guys get together. Are you the one that kind of comes up with most of the instrumentation, or is it like you with lyrics and everyone kind of brings in their own elements?
It's kind of different song to song. I mean, on the first album, there was like, a bunch of tracks that me and Hudson, the producer in the band, who's the 7th member, we wrote together in the recording process. Concrete Vehicles, Dissolution Use, Weird New Vocation were kind of written together, and then like, we, once like the live band was really going, we had like kind of rewritten stuff and sort of gotten it like to where we wanted it live, and then those just became the versions. We ended up like re-recording it with those out, like with those versions of it. And then certain songs like The Picture and Now in a Vacuum and Station on the Hill were written as a band, like written in the studio. Now in a Vacuum, I barely even wrote anything aside the lyrics on that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just kind of like the rest, like Ricky and Keenan, they kind of took like they kind of took the front seat on that song, and just like it happened in like 20 minutes, and then
damn,
I just did the vocals, and then I came back, and it was like kind of done. Like we kind of didn't touch it after that, to be honest. It was one of those just happened really fast songs, and it sounded so different than the rest of the album. We were kind of like, fuck it, let's throw it first.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different vibe, and that one's been really fun to play. So we all have so many different influences, so having like different people taking approaches to writing songs is really helpful.
It seems like a bit of a melting pot of different influences from all you guys. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's like, we definitely listen to similar stuff, but then also we're always surprising each other with like someone will put something on in the van. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is awesome. I did not expect you to be into, like drum and bass or something like that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's so awesome. And you guys are fresh off Europe and UK tour in October. How did that go for you guys?
It was great. Yeah. The shows were super fun. And we booked it ourselves, so we kind of didn't know what to expect. And it was really great. We would definitely do it again and are hopefully planning to. So yeah, definitely trying to get back out there again. It's so fun.
Tell me a bit about the booking process of booking your own tour. Like, how does that kind of go about?
It was something that I really wanted to do for a while. Like, I think before it even was a possibility, I was always mapping out potential tours just in my notes app while I was bored at work or something, or on the bus. And then eventually it kind of like, we got asked to do a festival in Rotterdam, and then I was like, fuck, okay, I can actually do this. That'd be fun. And so I started kind of trying to link up shows, and it kind of kept on going. I just had to send so many emails and kind of planned that out. And then the rest of the band, we kind of like helped it get across the finish line, and the label helped a lot too with getting us over there and stuff.
Nice. And tell me a bit about the story of signing with Dine Alone Records.
Yeah, it was super natural. Like, just kind of like communicated with them over Instagram a little bit and sent them some like early versions of the songs, and then once we got like the whole record done, we kind of started talking about it a bit. We met them in Toronto like earlier in the year when we were playing out there. And yeah, it just kind of happened naturally. Like it was kind of something that we didn't really think was possible. Like signing, we thought it was going to be definitely an independent release.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you know, like we played in so many bands and this, like everyone in the band has played in a lot of other bands and just done the local thing. So it was definitely like a goal. Like it would be really cool, but it didn't really seem like something that could happen. And then when it happened, we were all pretty stoked.
Yeah, it's like seems super surreal for that to just all of a sudden be like, I guess I'm signed to a label now, and the album's going on them.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a bit of a long process, but it was like really even like, you know, every part of it, I was just like, this is bizarre.
No, totally,
Yeah.
totally. That's awesome. Something that I've been noticing a lot in Vancouver, because I haven't been in the scene like a crazy amount of time, but there's been like a massive push of like kind of aggressive, like in your face music, like punk, grunge, like whatever you want to call it. Like, why do you think there's been such a big push just recently with that type of music coming out of Vancouver?
I think it's kind of everywhere too. But I think in Vancouver, I think people are just, I don't know, the scene switches, I think, a lot. And I think that music is like, it's all about expression. And I think people want to express a certain way at a certain time. And I think it's probably something to do with that. I think I can't really speak too much of it. I think that a lot of the bands I really like from the scene are really heavy. Like we have always had like a really strong like metal and hardcore scene in Vancouver, I feel like, but I feel like they hadn't like kind of co-aligned with like the indie alternative scene. And I feel like Piss were a really big part of kind of like opening up the like a super heavy band that could play on a bill with other really heavy bands, but could also play on a bill with bands that are like slightly less heavy. So I think that kind of opened it up. So like that the scene is kind of like it's kind of a big conglomerate thing. I don't know if that's a word.
Conglomerate, yeah, it is, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a big conglomerate thing of just a bunch of people making art that like it's because all the heavy bands in Vancouver are kind of different though. Like there's the really noisy shit like Chlorine Time Machine and stuff, and like Tall Mary, and then like Piss have this like really like artistic and like, you know, really heavy content mixed with like being a really like heavy kind of like atonal band. And then there's also like Jesse, is that the band? Like the like grindcore, I think they're called Jesse. They're like extremely heavy, but also like kind of fun, you know? So there's just so much good shit.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think like when I think of like hard hitting bands that have been, you know, coming out of Vancouver and kind of making their ways, like Computer was one of those bands, and then Piss was obviously another band that just has like such a big stage presence and puts on such a good show. And I've heard like great things about your guys' show, like not to mention that you're a 6-piece with a saxophone playing like hardcore music. Like that's fucking sick. You know what I mean? What has been your experience like in the Vancouver scene? Because I know we talked about previously how you've been in a lot of bands. Like what has been your just overall experience playing in the scene?
It's been great. Yeah, it's been really solid. I think, you know, we had like a lot of friends in bands before this band started, so and it like, you know, definitely helped to be able to play with our favorite bands. Like Worry Wart has been a band that we've played with a lot. And they've just always like kind of celebrated us and been very like nice and wanted to like, we've done tours with them and stuff. And it's just been really cool. Like we just kind of, cause we're kind of a band that like we do have heavier stuff, but we also have done sets where we totally don't do like our songs off our album. We'll do like something kind of more electronic sometimes, or sometimes like we do have some like, I guess, chiller songs. I mean, they're still loud because there's 6 of us, but like
yeah,
we've kind of fit on some pretty indie bills before, like really chill stuff. And that's also been cool. Like we've opened for like some like psych bands that are really, really chill. And like we've had a lot of opportunity to kind of test our music with like a lot of different audiences and kind of be like open-minded while doing that, because it's just all felt like really supportive. So it's pretty sick.
Totally. The scene always seems very open-minded with like different types of music because there's so many different types of music coming out of Vancouver.
Yeah, and the word of mouth like spreads fast here, that people that actually like go to shows and like finding new music and supporting local music. So it's like it's pretty cool that like you can just go see a band off of like recommendation and go check it out. They don't have to have tons of music out or a huge social media presence. It feels like, if you want it, there is a scene that's pretty like natural here where you can, just from word of mouth, you can hear about a band and go to the show and buy a shirt, and someone else sees it and they're like, what's that? And they go to the show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, people tend to really thrive off other people's recommendations for music in Vancouver. Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like the one thing what happened when I was listening to like Station on the Hill was that, like it seemed heavy for sure, but I hate just saying like, oh, the music's heavy and that's it. But it seemed very groovy too. Like the way you guys picked your riffs and the way kind of the rhythm section plays too. Like what kind of style do you guys try to achieve with your music? Is it you guys pick a style, or is it mostly like whatever comes out of the melting pot is the final product?
Yeah, I don't think we really pick something, because I think I'll go into a riff I'm writing or something with a certain expectation of what I'm hearing, and then Ricky, who plays drums, will go and play something and totally flip that like expectation I had into a thing that's like way cooler, because they have a totally different and like a really heightened like rhythmic language when it comes to music, and understands that stuff really well. So I feel like they'll hear something that I'm hearing and kind of flip it and then include some of like the roots of what the riffs are and just make something a lot more interesting. And I feel like we'll get really excited about adding different rhythmic elements and stuff, and kind of leaning into some of the campier like cowbells and shit like that, because it's just fun,
Totally.
And it's fun when you're trying to fill the space on songs, and especially when they're building off of already recorded versions, like because a lot of the songs were already recorded in a demo state, so you could kind of try and see if something worked with something that's less concrete, and then if it doesn't, then that's cool, and if it does, then you can try a better version of that in the newer version of a song. But yeah, there's also a lot of drummers in the band. Like that Jackson, who plays saxophone, also plays drums at a band called Girls Nails, and is a really good drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like he's a really good drummer, and Charlie, who plays guitar, he plays drums, and everyone's like, and Hudson, our producer, he plays drums too. So it's like there's a lot of percussion ideas floating around. And Keenan, he like has a lot of production experience too, so he'll kind of have ideas with production for drums and stuff. So, and also, I don't know, I listen to a lot of like very groove based music. Like I got really into Fela Kuti and stuff like that when we were, and like Steve Reich and stuff, which is less rhythmic, I guess. Actually, what am I talking about? There's tons of crazy rhythm, and like Stereo Lab, there's like some really funky shit in it that's like in 5/4 or something, but it just like you wouldn't notice. You're just like bumping your head so crazy to it, and then you're like, oh, it's kind of a weird groove actually.
No, totally.
But it seems so danceable.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing I kind of took from that band, from Stereo Lab, that I really love, is they'll have weird stuff going on, but it's never, you can enjoy it as what it is too.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I got from your guys' songs on that album, is that it seemed very groovy. Like you could bang your head to it, but you could also just kind of like get with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I like it. It seems like a very like, I don't know how to explain it, but like a full album, like with lots of different directions in it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was definitely the intent, to make it like an exciting first listen, and hopefully you can find stuff in it the more you listen to it. But I think I just like a lot of albums that will surprise you when you're like listening to it and keep your attention. And sometimes take things like a little too far, and then they reward you with like a really nice song after.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like I wasn't actively thinking about it, but listening back, I think a lot of things that I was really enjoying about albums I was listening to for like years up to that album, I was like trying to pull all of that in there. Because this was the first real album I've ever made. Like Magnolia had a release that was like an album, but this was like, it felt like the first time we could really play with like a lot of space and make something a bit bigger. And the songs from the beginning felt like I was like, I know it needs to be a record. And there was moments where we played with like, oh, it could be an EP. Maybe it was the smarter thing to do. But it just felt like it needed to exist as an album. So I'm happy that it does.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you think much about the listener when you created this album, or was it mostly just like what was coming out of you just came out into the album?
Yeah, I think it kind of just it is kind of just like it exists when I'm I don't know, when I'm performing stuff live, I'm like trying new stuff a lot, and I think I'm just trying to search for like the feeling I get when we play live, because this band's really fun to perform in, and I'm kind of trying to like search for that sort of feeling and emotion while we're recording, and I'm kind of just trying to like when I'm writing, it's one thing, but when I'm recording, like especially the vocal performances or whatever, I want to have as much emotion as I can that feels like real to me, like how I would when we were playing live, so that like that can feel like the performances can sell what I'm saying, or it could just give you an emotion while listening to it, because I do want it to be like to feel like honest and good, aside from sometimes like the instrumentals can be a bit like belligerent or something. You're like, what the fuck is this? But if the performances is like kind of are trying to make them emotional, so you can actually like feel it a little bit.
No, totally. And tell me a bit about your lyric writing process, because you have a lot of lyrics that I think are very literal in the sense. So tell me a bit about what inspires you when you're writing lyrics, and what kind of moves the needle for you to get words down on paper.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is kind of like figuring it out while I'm recording, or I'll just play around and improvise a lot and just see what words come out naturally, and then I'll kind of edit them and make it try to sell what I'm thinking the song means in a certain way. But I think I usually start with something that's really abstract and doesn't really make any fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll kind of try to like tame it a little bit to the point where you can still read it on a narrative level, but it isn't like, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm still working on it. Like I still have a lot of problems with the lyrics on the record. Like, you know, like I'm proud of it, but I just like, I really like, I felt really inspired lyrically recently to just kind of keep on working on how I can get better and stuff, and kind of listening to the album and trying to, because I often don't know what a song means until it's like, you know, out and I hear it 3 months later. I'm like, oh, like I often don't have any idea of what I'm writing until I listen to it later, which is dope. That's why I make music and stuff.
No, yeah.
You know,
That's kind of what I was going to say too, because when I write lyrics, like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about until after, and I'm like, oh, I like connect the dots. I'm like, oh, so this is probably what I was talking about. You know what I mean?
The same goes for listening to you. Like maybe really into one song for like months. You just listen to this one song, and then you like, you know, you listen back to it a year later, and you're like, oh, I was going through a lot of similar. I was like, I was going through something that like connected with me to this song at this time, but I wouldn't have like noticed that then. You know, it's the same with like music you write. I think, and I think that's why it's like, you know, it's sick.
No, definitely. What song on the album do you think you're like most proud of? Obviously the whole album, but is there a particular song that stands out?
I'm really proud of Dissolution Use. I think that song happened really quickly. And
Did you say 20 minutes? Is that what you said when you were talking about earlier?
One song is 20 minutes.
Did you say like the song happened in like 20 minutes?
Oh,
like...
that was Vacuum.
Oh, Vacuum. Okay, got it.
Now in Vacuum, yeah. That song happened really quick. I am super proud of that song because it happened so quick. Dissolution Use is another song that's happened pretty quick. It happened like the whole song was written and arranged in like a couple hours in like one recording session. That was like 2 years ago now. That was, or like 2 years ago. That was like kind of right as the band was getting going. And I'm proud of that song. I think it's like evolved live a lot, and I feel like it's good. It kind of encapsulates a lot of different stuff we do. I really like some of the least favorite songs I had on the record. Now that they're out, are like my favorite song.
Nice.
The Picture was I was like kind of unsure of that song, and now I love that song.
Yeah.
I think it's solid. I'm proud of it. I don't know, I'm proud of the whole thing. I think there were certain songs that were like challenging to write, like Station on the Hill, like the title track was a tricky one because it's long, and I wanted it to like be long for like a purpose,
Yeah.
and to be like satisfying and have like a impactful ending and whatnot. And so that was the one I was like overthinking the most while writing it, like just trying to get the perfect version of it. So I am proud of how it came out. So I think like, yeah, the whole record I'm pretty proud of, but you're never going to feel like fully
No, it's
satisfied.
It's never gonna fill the void, right?
No, you're like, I could do that better. I could do that better.
Yeah.
We could do this, but like, it's just,
If it was like a minute longer here, like, you know, it'd be, yeah.
and it's also like it's been our whole set in the entire time we've been a band. So it's like itching to just put new songs in there, which we are doing. So it's fun, to play them a lot. And then it's also, I think it'll be fun to not play them for a while and then to play them.
Yeah, no, we're in the exact same boat with my band. Like we just did an album release show, and like we've been playing those songs for like 2 years now.
Yeah,
and it's like now that it's out, it's like now we're kind of just want to rinse our hands of it and be on to the new thing.
It's kind of how it always is. I feel
Yeah, totally.
It's funny when you're like doing a release show. You're like, fuck, we got 3 new songs on the set right now. Yeah. You're like, you want to move forward?
No, totally. That's really cool. Tell me a bit about the story behind the album cover, because like from my eyes, it looks like a ladder with a light like on the top of the ladder. Like, what is the story behind that album cover?
Charlie could probably speak to that a bit more than I could, because he made that sculpture for a school project. Actually, he goes to Emily Carr, we were just like, we had a couple different album covers kicking around that were like really maximalist and stuff, because that's kind of what I thought it would be. And then he was just sending photos that I think some of them were for Pinterest that he was just like as a mood board. And then there was just that one that was just the album cover, like the way it is. And I was just like, what the fuck is that photo that you found on Pinterest? He's like, no, I made that. And I took a photo of it. And I was like, okay, well, that's our album cover.
There you go.
That's it. Because I just thought it was one of the Pinterest photos. Like, I didn't think that we could use that. I was like, we should make something like that. He's like, well, I
actually made that.
I made that. I took a photo of it. So that helped a lot. And then we were kind of like, that's the perfect record cover. And it's just kind of sick that it's just like, I mean, it's sick, and it's not that there's like, you know, it's just like, it's just a photo, and it's like, it's just really easy to be like, what is that?
No, 100%. That's exactly what my feeling was when I looked at it. I was like, what is that? I was like, is that just like a ladder with a light on it? But it's like, to know now that it's a sculpture, like with like a piece on it, now I'm interested to know like, what's the meaning behind that whole piece, right?
Yeah, there's like a bunch of covers that I think like have really like made me want to listen to it. Like the Women, the band from Calgary, they their first album, their self-titled album, is just a photo of like 1,000 people doing Tai Chi, and it's just like an overhead shot, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it just looks so cryptic and dystopian. Like, you don't even know that it's people doing Tai Chi until you're like, oh shit, that's what it is. It just looks like a crowd of people.
Yeah.
But and I always loved that. I was just like, what? It's just a photo? That's so sick.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like a Dean Blend album, like black metal, that's just a black cover. It's like The Joke and it's like Spinal Tap, you know, it's like the black album. And I'm just like, what is this? It's called black metal, and there's just a black cover. I want to listen to it. And it's like bizarre. So I think there's always, there's something to do with just like a blank canvas of like, oh, there's no name on it or anything. And it is cool. I think I like album covers like that. And I think I went through a phase where I was going to record. I mean, I can't afford to do it anymore, but I went through a phase where I was like living at my parents' house, where I would just go to record stores and buy records that I hadn't listened to or whatever. Sometimes by artists that I knew or whatever, but I would just buy it literally based off the cover.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of sick music that way. So people say don't judge stuff by its cover, but sometimes
records are like
records
the best.
Sometimes you can. So, but also sometimes you may look at like a, you know, like with some genres, like the shittier the cover, the better the music.
Yeah, totally.
Like with like jazz fusion, it's like the shittier, like the most like boring photo of a bunch of like if it's just a photo with like Cosmic Sans font, you're like, I'm into some heady shit.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, I'm gonna be real deep in here.
Yeah. So some stuff, the shittier the album cover, the better. Some stuff, not so much, but
no, definitely. I would do that in like the dollar bin with the record store, like pick off based on the cover.
Yeah.
And you'd find some fucking wild stuff. Like,
wild shit.
Yeah, this makes sense why it's in the dollar bin, but the other stuff you're like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta do it.
Yeah, you gotta take the plunge. That's awesome. Why Station on the Hill?
The album name?
Yeah.
To be honest, I just really liked how the words sounded, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song kind of had its own meaning. And originally it was just a song name, and we didn't have an album name. I think we were like working with a couple other ideas, and then once that song was done, it was kind of like, okay, this is good for a title track. And the song kind of wraps up lyrically like a little bit of what I'm trying to get at, like the whole album. So I feel like sometimes title tracks can put too much attention on one song, but I think if it was going to be one song off that record, like that was a good one for it, because it kind of does describe a bit about narratively about like what I think some of the other songs are about. So that's kind of why I landed on that.
What do you, after now releasing it and kind of listening back to it, like what do you think the narrative was trying to say at that album?
I think it's a bit like I was writing a lot about like small towns and stuff, or like, yeah, but also writing a lot about, I'm just writing a lot about like, I don't know. I was writing in a couple different, like sometimes like characters and stuff. But I have a hard time answering that question because I don't know, like, I don't really know, like, yeah, sorry.
No, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that I think I was going for with talking about, just like feeling, kind of living up to certain levels of like, just feeling a little like freaked out by certain things in life, like just like consumerism and stuff, and
Capitalism, things like that.
and
Yeah.
shit like that, just a little freaked out. And I think writing, I've always been really inspired by like art in a very dystopian way, like just, and I think that it kind of like hits me emotionally when it comes to music, because it can kind of like can breathe a new life into something that's like very mundane, which I think like the album is kind of set in like sometimes like a bit of like, there's a lot of songs about like anxiety and stuff, or that are written in kind of like performed or written in a way that's kind of like resembling a bit of like sometimes an anxiety attack or something, which I think is a bit intense, but I think there's also some comedy like within it too. Like there's some kind of like absurdist like comedy in there that's like a bit like, because sometimes like having anxiety for the most part sucks, but sometimes it gets you into some pretty fucking hilarious situations.
Oh, 100%,
you know? So
100%. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
writing
yeah.
a bit about that is like something that kind of like happened without thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole like philosophy behind like absurdism and how like fucking absurd life is sometimes. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's just-
Like you were saying, you just end up in like fucking crazy ass situations. Like I'm sure it happened to you on tour too.
Yeah, for sure. It's like anxious situations end up being really hilarious later on. You know?
Yeah. In the
So,
moment, it's like fuck, but then after, you're like, holy shit, that was hilarious.
yeah, it's great. It's kind of like you can do nothing about like being anxious, but laugh at it sometimes.
No, 100%, 100%. You have any like stories from tour when you guys were in UK and in Europe that are kind of stick out to you?
Stories from tour. I mean, there was like most of the shows are really good. I mean, there was like 2 shows or that there was like, it was pretty light turnouts. Like there was one show in London where there wasn't too many people there, but there was this one guy there eating a lemon like in the crowd. And yeah, it was like pretty surreal to like be. It was like a Monday show in London, and the other 2 shows were really, really good. Like the exact opposite of just one. I mean, there was like, it was a big, like it was kind of a big room, so like a lot of people were at the back, but the only visible person I could see was this person eating a lemon, and I was just like, this is fucking bizarre. We're on the other side of the world right now, like basically one person.
Yeah.
Having a very bizarre evening.
Yeah, we're playing dissolution use of this guy eating a lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is fucked. But it's cool. I mean, and that was like early on in the tour. And so it was like, there was a lot of stuff that made up. I didn't even remember the lemon show.
Yeah.
Until
totally.
the end.
Yeah.
And, but you know, that being said, we played a really lovely venue with really nice people, and it was still great. I think we still like playing kind of janky shows sometimes, or like the show went well, but and the sound was fucking incredible. Probably the funny thing is with the Lemon Show, it's probably the best live sound we've ever had. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
The venue's so good, but like I think we like sometimes playing like I mean, some of the members maybe would disagree. Maybe they would just like to play bumping shows every night. It's definitely fun, but sometimes when you get thrown a curveball, it's fun to like see how we react to it.
No, totally. Yeah. Especially when you're playing to like the one dude eating a lemon and 5 people in the back. It's like different energy to feed off of.
Totally. Yeah. It's like playing some shows where sometimes you'll play a packed show, but it doesn't seem like the energy is working, or people are just kind of standing there. I mean, it's kind of like an inevitable thing. You're going to play some shows where there's just nothing going on. Like there's just no movement, you know? But I kind of feed off that. I feed off the awkwardness of like, we're up here doing some like ridiculous shit and people are just standing there. I'm like, that's kind of like super funny, you know? It feels like they're like paid actors sometimes.
yeah, like just like NPCs or something.
Yeah.
Just running through the simulation.
It feels like that, and it's funny to lean into it. Like, and then I just get like, I have fun being like extra animated at those shows, you know?
Totally,
we just did a show that was like really, really fun. It was like just a showcase show, like just for like industry people. We've never done that. And it was like really fun, kind of like trying to like you play a normal show, but it was like a little bit different, you know? And it was fun to just kind of like do our thing and have people kind of just like staring at us and like not moving, because they were, you know, it's kind of like it's like a business show almost for them.
Yeah, they were kind of like, were they showcase show? Like what? I've never heard of that before. So
it's for like, M for Montreal, which is a pretty cool festival.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of booking agents and stuff. Yeah, they come to it. And it was super dope. But yeah, it was like, have you ever seen that video of Bobby Shmurda freestyling at the like Epic Records?
yeah.
And he's like in on the table and like rapping and shit. And people are just standing there. That's exactly how that felt.
That's hilarious.
Which was fire. I thought it was sick because it was just like Jackson rolling around on the floor playing saxophone. And I was just like looking at like, this is so funny that they asked us to come and do this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, and for Montreal, that's where you guys got picked up by the Needle Drop too, right?
Yeah, which is wild. I think it was like maybe one of his writers there or something. I feel like, because I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like I would have seen
Anthony Fantano
there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would have seen. I like, and I think it was written by someone maybe, but I mean, it was so sick to get that. Like, it was wild.
No, totally.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, the first like Pitchfork, and then you guys have like the Needle Drop. Like 2 like great music blogs.
Kind of fell ass backwards into some pretty good coverage.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Which is awesome. But it just means you guys you're doing something right and you're attracting like the right eyes to your performance. All right.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's also cool to get a review of a show too, because you can kind of like there's different stuff happens at the shows. So it's cool to get a review, and it's often funny too. Like we've had some funny reviews, and that one there was some funny things said in it. And yeah, I think we had one review at we had this show in Toronto, and it was like a bunch of baby-faced dudes had a pretty menacing vibe, which I liked that.
That is hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like our show in Toronto, and I thought that was a funny description.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny. I know. I remember I was reading the Pitchfork review, and I think someone described the outros to one of your songs as like every instrument available falling down a flight of stairs or something.
Which is dope.
Yeah, which is like so sick. Yeah, I feel like if you're trying to like with the album, with the intention that I feel like you guys are trying to give, like that's an amazing description of what you guys are, I think, trying to do, at least
in certain parts, for sure. In certain parts, I think there's certain aspects of some songs where it's like all at the end of All Follow, that in the recording is like it's pretty belligerent. It's like just a bunch of pianos fucking hammering.
Yeah.
It's stuff, and it's pretty it's a little out there, but it's fun. I mean, we did that live a couple like that song's always kind of changed live. Like it's and at the time we recorded it, we were doing a bizarre outro, and we just like, well, let's try to like amp it up to 1,000 in the recording of the like when we do the song. And so that was really fun to do. We just kind of had like all of our friends in there, some that like weren't in the band, just be like, just go to the piano and just hit every note as hard as you can, and let's just get like 10 takes of that.
That's so awesome.
And they're like, hell yeah, get me in there. And everyone kept me like, get me in there, let me do one. Like it's fun to just like fuck around sometimes.
Totally. And you have like like people who you're close to like on the album now too. Well. Even if it's just like whacking a piano, it's like,
I don't need to take space doing that take. Get one of the homies in there. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's awesome. Tell me a bit about like I always ask this question to people because we're trying to do things a bit differently in the scene, but what are some things you think the Vancouver scene does really really well?
Just well, I think the band's like, it's like a good community. Like there's good friends, and like people will try to like. There's not. I feel like there's not as much gatekeeping as there was before, with like, oh, you can't like. I think it's like there's not as much. I mean, I like to think so. Like there's not as much like cool guying and gatekeeping in the scene. Like everyone you could talk to at a show, and it's seems chill. It seems like pretty friendly, I think, now between the bands, at least. Like it's really it seems like there's like a good camaraderie, and everyone respects what each other is doing, even if it is like very very different, because there is a lot of really really different good bands. And so I think and you'll end up on shows with, like bills with them all the time, and I feel like there's always a camaraderie there.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, there's definitely a very big community aspect to going to shows, and I think you kind of see like a lot of the same faces come to different shows, and then not to mention that bands always seem to like want to help each other out, at least from when we run shows. Like that's what it feels like oh like
you don't have an amp, you can use ours.
Exactly. Yeah. Can we use your amp? Oh, I always wanted to use the amp. I'm so fucking stoked. You know what I mean? So yeah, things like that I think that are so awesome to see. Is there some things you think the Vancouver scene can do better?
Yeah, I think like trying to create safe spaces like at shows, when there's sometimes, because I think there's sometimes where a lot of people are going there for the music, and then there's some people that are just going there to get hammered, and I think we got to be careful a little bit, like like acknowledging when like something has kind of crossed a line and keeping people safe. And I think that's just something that we got to do. But I think we're like, Green Auto takes that stuff really, really seriously, and they're really, really good at that. And I think like, I think there's a bit of like a ways to go with just at shows in general, with keeping people safe. But I think, yeah, there's probably a handful of other stuff too. But from what I know, I think it's just like making sure everyone is having fun and is feels comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. That's a super important thing for, I think, anyone to be able to enjoy music, especially for like first timers too, like people who are like coming into their first show.
Yeah,
because I know like
totally.
that can be like a huge game changer for like that person, but also like the scene too, because they tell their friends, then everyone starts coming to the shows, and then it becomes like the new norm of just like, instead of going to a club, you go to a show.
Yeah, totally. But I think the venues in the city like do a really good job at keeping things like controlled and good. And I think like the bands do a good job at that too, I think. So yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I usually like, because I know you have a show tonight. You're playing at Green Auto. It was Often Wrong's EP release, right?
Yeah, it's 3 EP release.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With Scarlet Fever and Cherry Pick.
Yeah, both awesome bands. Scarlet Fever has a fucking great album too.
It's a really good album.
Yeah, I got it on cassette. Like that shit's fire.
You got a cassette player?
Oh yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
I have like a cassette player. I have a cassette like recorder. I have a 4-track that I record on too. Like I'm big into like tape, because apparently I hate having money. So
Does Jars got a tape?
No, we're getting a tape. We're getting a tape soon. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I would really love to do one. But yeah, I fucking love cassettes. I love records. Like I love the old way of listening to music.
Yeah, me too. I was so into records for a while, but sorry, I interrupted your question, dog.
No.
I was gonna say, but my record player's broken, so I still buy records to like to have them, and I think they're like, I think it's also cool when people buy something and like they're like, I don't have a means to play this, but I just think it's kind of sick.
Yeah, no, totally. And yeah, like I just got rid of Spotify, and I'm just using Bandcamp now, like strictly because I just like, I like owning fucking music.
Yeah.
And like, it's like I can pay $7 for an album, or I can pay this company $15 a month for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't even know how to end that shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I ended it, if I'm gonna still have to pay.
No, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like computers doing fucking amazing stuff in the scene. Like I heard about you guys through word of mouth because you guys are making such a big impact. And again, listening to your album, it just sounds fucking insane. I'm getting it on Bandcamp for sure.
Sick.
And yeah, I always appreciate like people doing things like a bit differently. And like when I heard you guys have a sax player, I was like, oh, we need to get them on like a Champions of Hope bill, like for sure. And now you guys are playing at the show on the 19th. We're gonna raise money for the Christmas Bureau. Toy drive, if you want discounted tickets, bring a toy, $15 to get in. But yeah, we appreciate you guys agreeing to be on the bill because everyone's so stoked.
Yeah, no, we're super stoked too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I usually end on this question. It's kind of like it's kind of a mind fuck, but like I took it from this other podcaster who does self-help people. I changed it to fit with artists. But let's say, Ben, that all of Computer's music, everything that they've done, it's just like wiped off the face of the earth. Like, what do you think the core message would be for you to leave with people about Computer?
I hope they just I hope they just feel the emotion in the music. It's like it's made with like hope, it's made like it's pretty honest music, and sometimes I hope, the live show can impact people or maybe inspire people to maybe like inspire people to play music or to just express themselves. Cause we're just feeling positive about expressing yourself and kind of laughing at the funny, like shitty parts of life.
Totally. The absurdism.
Yeah.
The
For sure.
absurdism. Yeah. No, that's so awesome. But yeah, thank you for that. That's a great answer to that question. And not that there's any right answer, but no, it was a great answer. Yeah, keep doing what you guys are doing. It's great to see you guys getting all that success. It's very well deserved.
Thanks.
And I'm super stoked to hear you guys play on the 19th. And you guys got a show tonight. You guys got another show, Kingfisher Blues. And then any other stuff that you guys are doing right now that are in the works you want to tell people about?
Just working on new music, working on getting new music recorded and stuff, and trying to play some new songs live eventually, and probably just keep touring and stuff. Hopefully, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, this has been Computer. Thanks again, Ben. You're awesome. And we're excited to hear you play on the 19th.
Dope, dude.
Cool.
Thanks.
Hell yeah,
Great
bro.
time.